Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Reyes again. And so the problems that we're going to be working on today are going to be problem solving with the last time. And so we're going to start out with looking at problem number 1. And so it starts out by saying, as soon as Carter got home, he worked on his book report for 45 minutes. Then he did chores for 30 minutes. He finished at 5:15 p.m. At what time did Carter get home? So the biggest thing with this is, I am going to read it again, but the biggest thing with this is that you have to know what information you've been given so you can then determine what you need to find. So as I read this, we need to figure out, well, do we have our elapsed time? Do we have our begin time? Or do we have our end time? So again, it says, as soon as Carter got home, he worked on his book report for 45 minutes. Then he did chores for 30 minutes. He finished at 5:15 p.m. So what I'm gathering from this is I have some elapsed time. This was actually supposed to print out in blue. It just didn't. I think my printer is out of blue ink. So we're going to underline that in blue. And then it states that he finished at 5:15 p.m. So I know that I have my ending time. So since I didn't highlight or circle or underline in anything in green, this is what I'm going to be looking for. So since I have my finish time, I'm going to put a line at the end of the number line and write 5:15 p.m. So again, I'm starting at the end because the information I was given in the problem is my ending time, my finish time. However, I don't know what the beginning time is, so that's what I'm going to need to work to figure out. So it talks about how he had done a book report for 45 minutes, and then he did some chores for 30 minutes. So I need to go back in time by those time increments to figure out what time Carter got home. So I can start with either one of them. If I start with my 45 minutes, I have to think, well, it's at 5:15. So if I go back by 45 minutes, what time would that be? So an easy way that I would do this is I would look at my time and I would go back in time. And in this case, I'm going to go back in time by 15 minutes so I can get to 5 o'clock. Because if I can get to 5 o'clock, then it's going to be much easier for me to subtract from there. So far, out of my 45 and my 30 minutes, I've only gone back in time by 15 minutes. So if I think about my 45 minus my 15, I know that I have 30 minutes more to go back in time. So if it's 5 o'clock and I go back in time by a minus 30 minutes, 5 o'clock minus a half an hour is going to be 4:30. And then, so I've got my 45, my 30, and my 15 equals 45. But now I have to make sure that I subtract out his chores, the time he spent doing his chores as well. So I'm going to think, well, 4:30, I can minus another 30 minutes, just because that's easy math to do. I know that that's going to be 4 o'clock. So it looks like I was able to find my 45 minutes for his book report, 30 minutes for his chores. I have my ending time at 5:15. Going back in time, I find that the start time, or when he got home, was at 4 o'clock. So that's my final answer for this. So notice how the number line's pretty large. You may not use the whole number line, and that's okay. It's an open number line, and it's there for you to use in the way you find it most useful. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on number 2 together as well. And then I have 3 additional problems here for practice for you. Again, at the end of the week, I'll post the answers. So I'm going to read my problem. It starts out by saying that Rylan arrived at school at 8:53 a.m. She completed reflex math for 19 minutes. Then she worked on cursive writing for another 13 minutes. At what time did she finish her cursive writing? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start looking using my colors to figure out, well, what times have I been given? So I know that she arrived at school at 8:53 a.m. So that's the start time. I'm going to circle that in green. Green means go. Then it says that she completed reflex math for 19 minutes, and then she worked on cursive writing for 13 minutes. So there's my elapsed time. And then the question is, what time did she finish her cursive writing? So I'm going to be looking for that red. So I'm going to start my number line at 8:53 a.m. So she went ahead and she did her reflex for 19 minutes. So I'm going to jump by 10 minutes first, and then I'll do my 9. So if I jump in the future by 10 minutes, I know if it's at 8:53, 10 minutes later, we're going to be into a new hour. So that's going to end up being 9:03. So I got my 10 minutes, and now I have to do my 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Count them again to make sure I got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if this is 9:03, 9:04, 9:05, 9:06, 9:07, 9:08, 9:09, 9:10, 9:11, 9:12. And that makes sense because 9 plus 3 equals 12. Now I've got when she finished reflex math, and now she's going to work on cursive writing for 13 minutes. So if it's at 9:12, I'm going to make another jump of 10 minutes. Then it would be 9:22. I've got my 10 minutes out of my 13 minutes she worked on cursive writing. Now I just need to add my 3 minutes in. 1, 2, 3. If this is 9:22, 9:23, 9:24, 9:25. That's 9:25 a.m. So it looks like I was able to find my ending time at 9:25 a.m. So this is how you work those problems. The biggest thing is try to use your colored pencils. If you have highlighters, those are going to work too, even markers for your coloring. See if you can find a green, a blue, and a red. And as you're going through your problems, see if you can figure out what information you've been given. If you've been given a start time, circle it in green. Any elapsed time, circle those in blue. And if you have an ending time or a finish time, circle those in red. Whatever color you're missing is going to be what you're looking for. So take your time, do your very best. At the end of the week, we'll post the responses. Any trouble, please reach out. Thanks.